welcome back to part 2 of this bullet journal video. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, I will link it down in the description box. Click that to see what I did for 2018. If you already have, welcome back, and let's get started. Okay, so fast forward in the future, as you can see, some things have changed just a tad with my journal. I got really HP Sprocket happy, and I decided to print out not 5, not 10, but 20 pictures for my journal, and I will flip through these and I will show you what I printed, and I will explain why and where I'll be placing them. Also, this is one of my favorite pictures of me. It's my self-portrait, and I will show you where I'm going to be putting that. But if you guys don't have the HP Sprocket and you're looking for something to invest in, I know everyone is really obsessed with the Polaroids and with just the whole aesthetic look of it, but honestly, I got my sister an HP Sprocket for Christmas, and these guys, it's with zinc paper, and so that means no ink. You just put in the paper and it will print, and it is so flippin' cool. Just for reference, I found all of these pictures. Again, I said I will show them to you individually and explain. But I found all these pictures, except my portrait, of course, on Pinterest. And this one I did not find with the text on it. I put the typewriter font on it. So I just found this picture and then I edited it myself. But I wanted to go, I didn't know what kind of theme I wanted to go with at first. I just thought the green color is really pretty and I'll go with that, but the inside will just be its own kind of thing, and its own kind of theme. But then when I found these pictures, and one by one I started seeing more of these really gorgeous, really pretty landscape pictures, and they all kind of had the same similar filter, so they all kind of had like its own aesthetic to it. Okay, so just covering some personal information, but so right as you open it, this I was so bummed. I had a sticky note right here, and I was testing out some calligraphy pens and they bled through, so I have to figure out what I can do here, and I will definitely make an update once I figure it out. But the whole point of printing out this picture was because your information goes here for the please return to, and then I was going to put a picture just so that they had kind of an idea, God forbid I ever lose my journal. But I figured that would be really cute. It would be a really cute touch, so I could cover that up or I could keep it here. But like I said, now I have to figure out what to do with that. So still figuring it out, but I know it'll be fine. So this is my logo. And this is the quote that I came up with for my writing company. And this is a #1 coin envelope. Oh, sorry, out of frame. This is a #1 coin envelope, and I don't know why, but I loved it so much, and so I just kind of flapped it right there, and I printed that up a while back, so I just kind of stuck it on there, kind of did a little weird doodle, and I actually decided to put my business cards in there. So if I ever meet someone and I just happen to run out of business cards in my purse, or it's inconvenient to go run and grab one from my bag and my little case that I keep it in, I have them right here. And I think it's very important. If you don't know the significance of business cards, I suggest you get to know them. The significance is high because you never know when you're going to meet someone, and you never know when you're going to want to connect with someone. And so I just have them scattered everywhere, in my mom's car, in my sister's car, in their wallets, in their purses, and we always make sure to have each other's, so you can connect with people. That's most important. So we're going to open up here, and I just did my little content. So the number 3 has a huge significance for me. I'm a Christian, and the way that 3, what it represents for me is perfect wholeness, and in the Bible it says that 3 represents perfect wholeness, and so God speaks to me through threes, and so 3 1, 2, 3, threes is like complete perfect wholeness, if that makes sense. So that was what I put. That was a detail that I put in my last bullet journal, but now it's in typewriter font. And so I'm a writer, and so that was what I wanted to do. But last year it was more convenient to put it in a different font, and I don't remember why, but it looked fine. So opening up, I put my keys, and I actually added something that I didn't have before. So every week on Wednesday, I go to church with my family. And so that is an event, as you can see from up here. It's an event and it's recurring. So I'll just put an R over that, and then these will all still apply. But I'll just know that it's reoccurring. Another thing that I wanted to add, so in my last bullet journal, I had, if you go on Pinterest, that's basically where I get all my ideas from, other than Amanda Rachel Lee, which I know that I discussed with you guys. Her Instagram is just so aesthetic, but so shout out to her. But I had this page called What Makes Me Happy, and I was supposed to write down just words or short phrases around this big box of what the title was, which is What Makes Me Happy, and then it just covered the page with words. Well, I got to about here and then I didn't do anything else with it, and it was kind of a waste of space. So I figured that I'd write something that I could read and ponder, maybe pray on, and then I stumbled upon this and I loved it. I love 10 Ways to Love. It's amazing. The scriptures that come with it, and kudos to whoever thought of it. Again, on Pinterest, don't know the person who created it, but if you're watching, good job, because I definitely added it to mine. So these are Stickies page. I got that from, so I don't remember who I got that from, but I will tag them down in the bottom. They are amazing. Gift ideas. TV shows, as you can see, I have a lot, and that's not including Netflix. Netflix Refresh. And then this one I'm actually super proud of. Emotion. So I didn't see this on Pinterest, but I just randomly had this idea. What if I did somewhat of like an ombre? And then I realized that the supplies that I had can't do an ombre. So I just did these color blocks. And so basically, say if I'm feeling happy, I'll just take this color and fill it in just as any other mood tracker. But I've given myself some more options. So if I'm putting this color, I'm between content and excited. You know, it could be one of those 4 options. But then it also goes down to, you know, instead of feeling neutral, I'm feeling habitual or natural. So that could mean that if this color pops up, it's most likely that I'm just, you know, same old, nothing's really changed type of thing. And then I saw this, and I thought it was fascinating that I hadn't thought about that before. I had just kind of filled it in, and this spread that I found had this exact layout, and I loved it. So also kudos to that person who figured it out. The next page that I have here is my 2019 year spread, and I loved this one because in my other bullet journal that was the extra large moleskin, it had this much space underneath all of this. So instead of June being here, it would just be the blank space. That's how large the book was. So I was really bummed because I used it a lot. I liked overlooking the year and seeing and being reminded of all of the events that happened that were big events. So this was a really nice touch, and I liked the layout, and it was very simple to do. Now, this is the fun part. So this was January. This is how, if I show you January, you'll basically see all of my planner because I laid everything out the same. The only thing that I didn't do the same is June. And June actually is written out in green marker because, and I love these little touches. I don't know where I got the idea from, but I'm so glad I did it. It looks so aesthetic. But that same color that was with this June right here, as you can see through the paper. I did it through the entire month of June. And the reason why is I started that last year with my Moleskine. And basically, the green is a reminder, because sometimes I forget that June is 6 months within the year. And it was a great reminder with 2018 that 6 months has already passed. If you haven't done something, get it done now. So it was a really good reminder. So I incorporated that into my 2019 spread. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with these guys. So just to show you these pictures, like I said, I got them from Pinterest. I am in love with these pictures. I'm kind of just a tad bit bummed about the filter, or like the color that came out with it. It turned out a little bit darker, a little bit lighter, you know, a little off. But this one, but sometimes they turn out just fine. So I think it's more of the raw pictures that turn out great, because this doesn't have a filter. This was just the picture. And it was a little blurry to begin with because I was in motion. So it's actually in great condition, great quality. So so this one turned out really great. But this one, like that looks a little pixelated. I don't know if you can see that, but the clouds kind of look a little pixelated. I think it's just the filter that was on there. But like I said, I got all of these from Pinterest. So this is going to be January. This one's February. This is going to be March. April showers, had to do some kind of rain theme for April. This is May. Now what's crazy is when I saw this picture, I automatically thought of May, so I had to do it. But I was looking for something like, you know, any of these, just flower fields, mountains, water, anything type like that. But as soon as I saw that, I just knew, you know, I had to do this for May. This is June. This one was one of the ones that I was really bummed about, because the original picture from Pinterest, it's literally 10 times more vibrant than what printed out. And I would take my phone and I would download the picture from Pinterest and I would put it right up next to the page right here. And I would try to see if it matched the green that I used for the June letters. And it did, and it was perfect. And now that this green is kind of faded and weird, it still matches, but it's not the way that it used to. So I'm kind of bummed, but it's still a gorgeous picture. High quality. You can tell that a professional photographer took it. So at least there's that. And then this is, so that was June. So this is July. Really love that one. This is going to be August. And this one was one of the ones I was super upset about, because this picture, especially in this greenery, was so vibrant, was so gorgeous, and the filter just, it didn't pull through very well on the HP sprocket. That was the only thing I was really bummed about with this whole purchasing and this whole thing with the HP sprocket. But honestly, I blame the filters, because like I said, this picture came out spectacular. So kind of upset, but it's still very, very pretty. All right, and then this is September. Love that one. This one I had to change it up. I saw this picture, and just like June, it was very high quality. So I didn't care if it was super close up to the leaves. But as soon as I saw this, I knew October. So that's what October is. This is November. I really love the pine tree and just the rain droplets coming off of it. It almost looks like it's getting colder and colder for snow, which is perfect, because then it leads up to that one. So November and December. But also, I know a lot of you are probably thinking, well, November, some people in the United States and maybe places like London are getting snow already. Well, I live in Arizona, so I don't remember. I was born and raised in Chicago, but I've lived in Arizona for over 10 years, so I actually don't remember when snow comes into season. I was I believe 11 years old when I left Chicago, and so I sadly don't remember. So there's that. And then this picture I found, I don't know who the artist is, otherwise I would give credit, because I do believe in giving credit where credit is due. But again, I found all of these on Pinterest. I found this one on Pinterest and I fell madly in love with it. It's perfect for Easter, and it kind of just gives you perspective on what real love means. So that was super beautiful. This one I was really bummed about because it's like a Shutterstock kind of logo in the corner. But I thought this was beautiful. This I'm going to use for 4th of July, and I'll show you where I'm placing that. This one is very important to me. I loved it, and it's going to be for the 4th of July. Now, with the HP Sprocket, I needed to print 5 more pictures, so I ended up printing these 5 together. So these don't necessarily, this one had a place. These don't necessarily have a place, but I know that I can, well, except this one. Oh Holy Night. This one is going to go on the week of Christmas. But these, like I said, or as I was saying, these don't really have a place, but they all have really deep meaning. So I know that no matter what, no matter where I put them, no matter what I do with them, they will be very useful to me. So I'm going to show you what it's going to look like to put January, what it's going to look like to install it on the actual page here. But I've got to do some counting, and I've got to figure out the spacing properly, and then I will show you how I stick it on there, and then I'll do the rest of the book, and I will show you the complete journal. Okay guys, so real quick, I just counted the spaces. So my sister, the way that she counts her journal is she counts the dots, and she counts how many dots is in between each block, and that's kind of how she measures. But because I had a Moleskine, I see all of them as squares, so I count the squares. So I counted 13 squares. Oh, sorry, you can't even see that. I counted 13 squares, and then here's the 13th square. That line is directly down the middle. That is the exact middle down the page. And then I counted how many blocks, including this one, up to here, and that was 11, and that just so happens to be equal on the bottom. So if you have a Leuchtturm A5 and you have an HP Sprocket and you're trying to do a similar look, it's 11 by 11 and 8 by 8. It is perfectly equal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I do this. Just take the little corner, peel it off. Make sure I get this in frame. Perfect. And then I'm going to go back. And there we are. That is what my entire journal is going to look like. I just wanted something really simple, kind of minimalistic, if you will. That is why this is so empty around, and this is just so plain and simple. I think it just adds a simplicity a beauty of simplicity, if you will. So that is what I will be doing for the rest of the journal. I'm going to go through to each month, and I'm going to put all these pictures, and then like I said, I will do a flip through of the final product. Okay, real quick, as I was putting February on, I actually messed up and I only did 10 on the top. I don't know how I did that. So I was really nervous, but I peeled it up and it peeled right off. And then I stuck it back on, and now it's laying flat when it was a little curled. So these guys are amazing. They stick very well, and I know that when I close the book and throughout time it'll stick even more. But if you make a mistake, these are very easy to fix, and I just have to say I'm very impressed. I just finished putting on the monthly designs, the monthly pictures. So these are all that I have left. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about when I said that I'm going to put these on weekly spreads. So this is what my weekly spread looks like. So this happens to be Easter Sunday on the week 17 of April. And like I said, I wanted to put this for Easter. I think it just correlates perfectly. So instead of putting it here, which it would definitely, sorry, out of frame, it would definitely look pretty because it has that aesthetic corners right here that would just kind of hover around the picture, and it would be appropriate because it's Easter Sunday. But usually my family and I, we go out, we do stuff. So if I wanted to write down what I'm doing with my family, where we went, who we saw, that type of thing, I want to be able to leave space for that. So right here just so happens that this fits perfectly in the space next to it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of figure out, I don't know if you can see this, which I think you can, but right around here, if you can look and see, there's a perfect border of dots right around the edges, equally on the top and the bottom. There we go. It's a little bit better centered. And that is what I'm going to do for the weekly layout for some of the events. So this one I'm going to put here exactly. Okay. And we're just going to stick this right here. Wow. That's literally perfect. Same thing with the 4th of July flag. I could easily stick it right in here, but I would like to write down what I'm doing that day. So again, just as the Easter picture, that is going to be going right here. And as I said before, I was going to put Oh Holy Night with Christmas, and so I flipped to December 25th, and that is going to go perfectly right above here. Like I said, I really wanted this layout to be very simplistic, and so having these little stickies on there adds some kind of design but still keeps it clean and simple, and it's kind of the best of both worlds here. So now that that is all done, I'm just left with these three, excluding this one, because like I said, I have to figure out how to cover up that horrible mistake of a calligraphy pen that just leaked through a sticky note. So this one will most likely take a little bit longer to figure out because I've done so much work to make this look aesthetic. So I really have to figure out how to cover that mistake. So other than this one, I am just left with these three. Stand firm in faith, and I believe that says, yes, 1 Corinthians 16:13, which is a great scripture. This one, I will sing to the Lord as long as I live, Psalm 104:33. And this one where it's just a beautiful sunrise with some daisies in it. And if you guys want these pictures, any of these pictures from the bullet journal, from Pinterest, let me know. I will make a board for you guys so that you guys can grab them for your own books. But right now I will do a flip through so you can see where everything is kind of placed and how I place them. And you can get a picture for yourself what you kind of want to do. Now, just a word of caution with the HP Sprocket pictures on the outside of the notebook. As amazing as this looks, I decided not to put any on the outside as I had done with my other one, and I'll explain why. So looking at these, they're great. They kept their color. They look perfectly fine. But I noticed, especially towards the end of the year, that the edge ones specifically have a little bit of worn down. So that's not a part of the picture. That is actually, I think, water damage, which is to be expected because these are pictures. They're not supposed to be anywhere near water. But I think a little couple droplets had gotten on there. So that kind of damaged the picture. And then right here, that's not a part of the picture either. That's actually color, I don't know what I would call that, but it's like the sun kind of dyed it or something, where it's like faded in. And then I think it was this one right here, right on the edges here. These guys survived pretty nicely on the edges here, but the best one out of all of them, of course, is my picture right here, which, yes, if you were paying close attention, you know that that is just the black and white version of this one. So I decided that black notebook, black and white picture, green notebook, colored picture. So I figured I would change just a little up because, like I said, that's my favorite picture of myself. So this one stayed perfectly intact. It's perfectly fine. If you do want to do something like this, I suggest doing Mod Podge. I actually have a couple of these printed and I put them on my Corkcicle, and basically I was worried that water was going to get on them, and water did, and a little damage like this ended up going across the picture, and it ended up, I mean, it looks cool altogether, but the picture is ultimately ruined. If I really was upset about the integrity of the original picture being ruined, and it totally is. So to cease further damage, I put I think 1 or 2 layers of Mod Podge over it, and it seems to be perfectly fine now. So as you know, Mod Podge is waterproof. So just a little tip, at least on the outside of the book. It's totally fine on the inside, but definitely on the outside if you're going to do something, and I mean here inside, obviously inside the book, but if you're going to do something, especially for a Leuchtturm, that's something smaller than, it's extremely smaller than, I would suggest doing right in the middle. You can definitely cover this entire page, but you will most likely receive damage like this picture did. So just a little pro tip for you there, for someone who obviously, as you saw, printed out a lot of HP Sprocket pictures. Thank you guys so much for watching my 2019 bullet journal setup and how-tos. I'm really excited for next year. There are a lot of promises ahead, and I know adventure awaits. Thank you again for watching. I hope it helps. If you guys have any questions or would like exact measurements for your planner, let me know down in the comments and I will make sure to post them.